What's up, family? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Asia and I create content that helps you look good, smell good, and follow Jesus. On today's video, we are going to be trying out the super hyped up and quite viral Maybelline Superstay Skin Tint Foundation with Vitamin C. But first, let's get into the pricing and reviews of this foundation. This foundation has a total of 18 shades within its shade range. This foundation retails for $13.99 at Target and Walmart. Now, if you go to Ulta or Maybelline or CVS, it's a little bit more pricey, retailing at $17.99. Now, this foundation has some really rave reviews. Those who love it truly love it and find it to be a great foundation for everyday wear. However, there are some dislikes as well. Most who dislike this foundation either had an allergic reaction to it, or they found that the foundation settled into their fine lines or didn't have enough coverage for them. And just from my opinion, it seems like this feedback may be coming from people, of course, with sensitive skin, but also from a more mature age range. However, those who love it, the people giving it the good reviews, they're saying that it does not settle into fine lines, it lasts all day, and it feels weightless, which is great, especially when we're talking about heat, oily skin, and all the things. Those who love it did have some feedback as well. So what they said is that the dropper could go. The dropper ends up making it messy. When you're opening it and closing it constantly, it can get on the side of the bottle, which causes a little bit of frustration for them. Also, notably, the shade range is 18 shades. 18 is still a little bit on the lower side when it comes to a shade range. And then also some said that it dries fast, which could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how quickly you move. And last but not least, some of the feedback said that it can be very hard to find your shade in stores. So first things first, I have oily combination skin. Within my T-zone is where I typically get oily, and then the rest of my face is pretty normal. I like to use products that are light because of the fact that I get oily. I'm also climbing my way out of the acne barrel, so I like to avoid products that clog my pores because my forehead is quick to tell me that it does not agree with the product by bumping up all over the place. I also have sensitive skin, so with the possibility of clogged pores from the oil and with the sensitivity that my skin has to products, I like to keep my makeup light. So this foundation definitely excites me because if it works good, it could definitely be an everyday foundation for me. All right, now let's get into testing this out. So on my skin, all I've done is wash my face. I applied my moisturizer, sunscreen, and serums, and now I want to go in with a base, a primer. I'm going to be using this e.l.f. Power Grip Primer with 4% niacinamide. I already got on sunscreen, so I know it's probably not going to add much to me as far as the niacinamide is concerned, but this is a great primer to make makeup stick. And with this being a foundation that is long lasting, I wanted to use a primer that would go well with that. So let me show you 355 first. You always want to make sure that you shake it up good because that's what they say. And I can see that there is shimmer inside of the bottle. So you want to make sure you give it a good shake. Now we've got our little dropper that they say is messy, which I could definitely see that. I'm going to put a drop on the back of my hand just so we can do a quick swatch here. So this is 355 and this is 330. So I believe that 355 would be my shade in the summertime. It looks like 330 is like for real my shade. As much as I like 355, 330 is clearly a better match for me today. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that. Though I could make 355 work, I do love going darker with my foundations. I feel like it's so easy to make everything blend seamlessly when you do that. We'll just use 330 anyways because I've yet to try that shade. Okay, that's a lot, but it's all right. We're gonna work this in. Let's remove the earring right quick. So a little bit goes a long way here. Now let's talk about the benefits of this foundation. It resists sweat, humidity, and fading, but it is not cry proof. I had this on this past weekend at a women's conference. You know, I was crying and all the things because when I worship, I'm a crybaby when I worship, and I had streaks going down my face. So it is not safe for crying, but in my forehead, in places where I sweat and things like that, it was fine. There was no wear there. So it is not cry proof. Other benefits, of course, include the vitamin C, which is inside of the actual formula. And according to Maybelline's website, most people who tried this foundation found that their skin looked healthy looking, more radiant, and of course, an even skin tone. All right, so I have nothing under here, under the eye. I got a little bit over here just because I forgot that I was only trying to do half of my face, but this is halfway done, and then this is the opposing side, and this is how it is looking. It has a decent coverage, and it's very easy to apply. It moves very easy. I don't struggle at all when I'm applying this to my skin. Look at that. It immediately looks like it's mine. My forehead is a great place to test the coverage because, as you can see, I have dark spots right here. So let's see how it does with the dark spots. It's definitely giving medium coverage. It's not full coverage, but I would say this is like a medium coverage. You can still see the dark spots peeking through, but it did a good job though. This foundation basically feels like there's nothing on my face. It's very lightweight. It feels very easy to apply. I'm not feeling like this is drying down too fast. It feels fine to me, honestly. It does look like my skin. This is a great, you know, lightweight makeup look. I think it's gonna do amazing in the summertime, but it still doesn't feel bad now. It's still comfortable with it being the end of winter moving into spring. All right, so now after seeing how this applied, I'm going to actually use my regular concealer to conceal under my eyes, and I will do all that stuff off camera. But I do want to talk about how other products apply on top of this. I would strictly use powders on top. I am going to use a powder blush for this look, because when I used a cream blush, what I found out is that cream products actually remove this foundation, which is not fun. But as you can see, the powder products go on great and it looks good. Like, it's really good. Still getting a little bit of product on the brush, but it's not removing as much as a cream would. So I definitely recommend putting powders on top of this and not creams. Outside of your concealer, I would not put any more cream on top of this foundation because it does dry down and you will remove it trying to blend in the cream. Okay, so powder is done. Adding blush on top again. I love to add powder on top of this because I feel like it just works so much better. All right, so this is what my face looks like just with the skin tint and a setting spray, and of course, blush, contour. I need powder. So I'm gonna do my makeup like I usually would, okay? I usually put a little bit of powder in my T-zone. That just kind of helps everything out a little bit. So I'm gonna do that. Just a little powder here. And I already have powder under my eyes. I'm not gonna put powder here at all. This gets oily sometimes as well, but I'm not gonna put any powder there, okay? So we've got a little bit of powder on the T-zone, a little bit of powder under the eye, no powder down here. So when we start seeing shine and all the things down here, we'll know how it's wearing, right? So this is where we're at. It is now 1:03. So I don't know how many check-ins I'll be able to get in, but it's 1:03 and I will check in about 2 hours. Quick check-in, it is now 3:04. I have been working underneath multiple lights for the past 2 hours, filming and doing all the things that I do. And this is what my face is looking like. So it's literally been 2 hours. I've eaten, changed my lip because I'm filming a different video, and my face is holding up pretty well. It's been 2 hours and it's doing pretty good. So I'm about to go walk and get my kids and be at the playground and do all the things. So my next check-in should be good. It'll be after dinner, so I'll be back. All right, guys, so I am back for another check-in. It is 7:23 and this is what my face is looking like. I have cooked dinner, walked and picked up my kids, and when I cooked dinner I was standing over the stove and inside of the oven, well, over the oven and the stove. Yeah, and then I spent the entire day under these lights, and this is what my face looks like. You can notice that I'm starting to get a little oily here around my nose, but everywhere that I put powder hasn't sweat out. So everywhere that I set is still set. It looks like I could easily get another 4 hours, especially if I set. I'm gonna do one more check-in. I'll come back at 9 o'clock and show y'all what my face looks like and then give you my final thoughts. All right, so we have reached the end, finally. The last check-in, it is 9:35, which makes a complete 8.5 hours wearing this makeup. So even still, my T-zone has remained nice and matte. It's a little shinier. I have a little bit more oil here around my nose. Honestly, if I would have just taken powder and just put powder on top, my face would not even be shiny here. Yeah, I don't see any settling in my smile lines. If anything, the only thing that I would say is that just around my nose, I see the foundation is breaking up a little bit here. So to avoid that, I probably would just powder all of this middle of my face because I think that that would make it last a lot better. If you have oily skin, I definitely would recommend using a setting powder on top of it just to make everything nice and matte. But as far as wear is concerned, this foundation, this skin tint foundation is staying. It is staying put. I definitely would love to hear your thoughts. How do you think it held up? Chime in down in the comment box down below and let me know your thoughts. This foundation is a definite yes for me. I will be wearing it more often and setting it, of course, with the powder, but I really like it. I think that it's a great affordable option for a everyday foundation. We also would love to know your experience with this foundation. If you have tried it, it will be super helpful to the fam for you to give us all the details on your experience so that way everyone can make informed decisions on whether or not they should give it a try. All right, family, take care until next time, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already so that you can get more content that helps you look good, smell good, and follow Jesus. Bye, guys.